everyone. Welcome to Founders Unplugged by Velocity Ventures. My name's Patrick Imbardelli. I'm proud to be the chairman and one of the founders of Velocity Ventures. We're essentially a travel, tourism, hospitality, technology fund, venture fund, based in Singapore and really focusing on Southeast Asia. And we get to meet some really clever, enthusiastic people that are doing some wonderful things. And today, it's terrific with Founders Unplugged that I have this gentleman, Tan Jie Hao, who is going to tell us about a few things he's done with a company called Micepad. Welcome.
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for having me. My name is Jie Hao. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Micepad. So quick introduction about self. We are an all-in-one event management and audience engagement platform. And our suite of products is personalized for every company's need, helping organizers to streamline the entire event organizing process, from small meetings up to big-scale trade show that can go to like 15,000 or 20,000 packs. Our platform also enables organizers to make meetings more interactive and measurable, so organizers can choose how they want to engage attendees through activities such as Q&A, polling, gamification, all in a single platform. And as data and feedback become ever more important in today's world, our unified data platform helps organizers to draw event insights which would otherwise be left uncovered to demonstrate event ROI.
Thank you. Thank you, Hal. And I'm really excited about what you guys are doing, because I do think we are even just forgetting COVID. We're evolving. Communication platforms are evolving, but interactivity is also evolving. And I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure thing.
So as a startup and an operating company, you've had people investing in you. So when you were looking at who you'd like to invest, apart from the dollars, of course, and having the right people, what were you looking at from investors? What were you looking at apart from the money? What do they need to bring to the table for you?
Yeah, right. I think this is a very good question. We are currently still self-funded and do not have investors. But I think if you are looking for investors beyond funds, the ideal investors would be someone who understand our space very well. To be honest, I don't think many people, especially in Asia, understand the enterprise SaaS space, especially in event tech. Right, right now, all the hype ideas are in fintech or in deep tech. But event tech itself is super attractive, in my opinion, because when you sell subscription to enterprises, it's really very sticky and scalable. Yeah, so when we are looking for investors, I think investors need to be grounded in the fields. They need to be recognized. They need to have reputation, because we would also need investors to help us to open doors, to do introduction. And by borrowing their credibility, it can help us to maybe close deal or improve the relationship with existing customers really by a lot. Yeah, so understanding the space well and have been operating in the space and with certain synergy, this is certainly something that we are looking for.
Well, that's really interesting, of course, because to be honest, that's one of the reasons why we set up Velocity Ventures. Mm-hmm. We want to specialize in the space and everything that goes into it, especially in Southeast Asia. But another question I had, you said you were self-funded. Is that the founders and immediate fund sources funded it and you really hit the revenue early to be able to be sort of break even and beyond from a cash perspective? Or is it that your model is so lean that it didn't need large amounts of capital?
Right. So I think we had been intentional at the start, because the idea didn't came to us. So we are doing projects after projects before we start to nail down where we see there's a potential of doing this product, especially in the event management space, right? And so whichever or whatever profit that we generated, we try to plug it in back to our company and using the fund to either invest in product development or go into new markets such as Hong Kong and Taiwan. Yeah, so it has been that process since then. So of course, product development hasn't been cheap, but we have been trying to stay lean and making sure we develop things that enterprise are willing to pay for it.
Understand. Thank you. Now, I believe you've got a couple of questions for me.
Yeah, I do. Right. So I think our industry, be it in the travel tech or event tech, we are one of the most badly hit. Right. So my question to you would be, what profile of travel tech or event tech company is getting the most traction at the moment, and why?
I think considering where we are in the world and where we're going, what's getting the most traction is the type of companies that have fine-tuned or repivoted toward what the new normal will look like. I'll give you some examples. If we're talking about a booking platform that's just an alternative to Expedia, then that's not as compelling. If, on the other hand, we're talking about something that is building more of a community to enable people to travel more, that becomes more compelling. But also what's happening is a lot of the opportunities are inward looking. What efficiency is there for travel companies, for airlines, for hotel related, anything in the space that would bring efficiency or bring consumers to market easier. So if we compare where we were to where we are, you know, a lot about the business model. The business model was important, the founders and all of that. That's still all important. But how will this play in the new normal? And when a founder has the compelling proposition based on his or their assumptions about what the new normal would look like, that's what gets us very interested. And that's what I think has lots of opportunities.
Well, thanks for sharing.
The question I have now is, you launched a company, you started designing, you started product developing, you had in the market and all of that. And then this thing called COVID-19 hit. And I think, you know, the terms of uncharted waters, repivoting, you know, cash burn, customer centric, we've got all the terms. But what did you have to do in Micepad start doing differently? Not so much for now, although that's important, for the new future.
Yeah, so we are looking at how, so we have different offices. So right now we have a Taiwan office, Singapore, and Hong Kong as our sales office. So right now in Taiwan, they are virtually not impacted by COVID so much. There's no lockdown. There are not a lot of cases. Live events are still happening, although they have a few virtual as well as hybrid event. So for us at the company level, we are really planning ahead to see what does recovery looks like. Yeah, so I think by adapting to virtual event, a lot of clients simply are just using Zoom. And to be honest, I think we are coming out with, everybody in the industry are coming out with event experience that no one is looking forward to, right? As a company, we are trying to redefine how this event experience, how the excitement look like in the future. We are planning for the recovery. And so at the company level, we are also rethinking and redesigning, especially in terms of the attendee experience. So we are trying our best to build the best platform, and we are just doing a few more pilots here and there. And you have different cities opening up at different pace, right? Singapore is much better, and Hong Kong has a bit more cases nowadays. Yeah, so we are playing around with different event formats. So we have live events, virtual event, and hybrid event all happening at different cities altogether. Yeah, and so we want to be ready for recovery, but at the same time making sure that if this COVID drags on for a long time, we are also there for virtual events. Yeah, so making sure we stay relevant and making sure we help our partners, especially those event agencies, stay relevant as well, because all of them are from live events background and they probably don't have a lot of jobs to do right now. So they went into video production, and just by listening to them, listening carefully to our clients and making sure we keep what is essential, like the human connection, by bringing it back all to virtual and making sure that live events is not simply a webinar, right? It's not just very, very transactional. Making sure all these experiences are being kept as the core of the product And we want to make people come back to this event space where recovery takes place, and then when we can finally all meet together, it's going to be all great again.
Thank you. Well, Jie Hao, that's great. You've been able to repivot, look at what the current need as well as the future needs. You spoke about what does recovery look like, and you're trying to redefine the attendees' experience and all of that. If I say to you we're in 2020, and let's say we're over this, whether it's 21, 22, whatever, and we're looking 1 or 2 years beyond the recovery, what do you think maybe COVID has brought to us that wouldn't have happened in meetings and technology and especially in the space that you play with, but because of COVID, we've got something that we didn't have before? What do you think that would be? Would it be the driving of virtual meetings, events?
Well, I wouldn't say it's just virtual meetings. I would think it's the emphasis on technology, right? So I think there has never been a better time for an event tech company like ourselves, because in the past you would have organizers going to venues, right? They will have to book venues, or they will have to look for agencies to settle the event before they look at tech, right? And tech is forever like at the bottom of the list, something that can help them to streamline things, but not that mission critical. But with COVID, events cannot take place with their budget being slashed. I would think most of their budget right now are on platforms. So it's right now technology first, platform first. They need to make sure they can continue to deliver the events before they can even think about like, how do I plan for this? How do I include engagement? So never before, like this is the best time for technology, and it would have taken maybe like 5 years to 10 years for the whole industry together to be digitalized. But with COVID, I think it has been 5 years worth of work has been done like within 3 to 4 years, within 3 to 4 months. So everyone is digitalized, everyone is digital first, everyone understands the importance of technology. And even when recovery come back, people have experienced the benefit of going digital because you can increase your reach. So I would also think slightly into the future that most events, if not all, would have a digital component, because all of us benefited from this, and it's just a small extension with a little bit of cost, but you can increase your reach without limitations of venues and resources. You can have such a bigger impact when you hold an event.
I agree with you, and we're finding at Velocity Ventures that where technology was the enabler, now the technology is the essential component to make things happen. Where technology in part was workarounds and pieces, now it's full integration. So agree totally with you on that. It's really been accelerated, the necessity of technology and how it plays such a critical role in many aspects of our business, being travel, being tourism, and everything like. My last question, young man, is this. Jie Hao, you've been described as a tech entrepreneur and operations specialist with a passion for gadgets. Tell me about that. Tell me about your passion for gadgets. And then the last question I'm going to ask you is, what is your favorite gadget?
Right. So as you know, our company is called Micepad, and one of my favorite gadget is iPad. And we started the whole company with the premise of the mice industry and iPad. And not a lot of people understand what Micepad was in our early days. So everyone just called us like mousepad. And we took like so many years for the word Micepad to sink in, right? And people had no idea what mice was all about. Other than, I think Singapore uses this phrase quite a lot. When we go to overseas, they probably are not so sure what is mice, right? So yeah, I like gadgets. I love, we started when in 2013, that was when the enterprise started embracing iPad 2. And we have gone such a long way. There's so many different iOS and so many different versions of iPad. Yeah, so I'm an Apple fan right now, so all my gadgets are all Apple related. It's so convenient. I forgot your second question. So yeah, so I love gadgets.
And I guess it must be iPad. or any Apple gadget, correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Jie Hao, thank you so much. Thank you for making time. Great to hear what Micepad's doing. I think it's fantastic, and you guys are just on the right thing. Let's stay connected, because the world is a small place, and I'm sure there's going to be opportunities for us to work together at some level. And on behalf of Velocity Ventures, thank you for being part of Founders Unplugged, and best of luck with what you're going to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much for having me.